Hey everybody, it's Jason Wood from 11 O'Clock Comics, and it's Wednesday, which, as you know, means that all those glorious new comic books are hitting the shelves at your store. And as like you, I'm extremely excited to pick up a handful of them. So without further ado, here are the 5 comics I'm most excited to pick up for the week of Wednesday, March 8th, 2023. And our first pick of the week is from DC Comics. It's Adventures of Superman, John Kent, number 1 of a 6-issue limited series. This miniseries is written by Tom Taylor, with art by Clayton Henry and colors by the incomparable Jordi Belair. As you might guess from the title, the premise of this miniseries is that Jonathan Kent is recruited by Val-Zod to hop around the multiverse trying to prevent Ultraman from killing more and more Kal-Els. I've always thought DC does great work when they're hopping around the multiverse. It's always fun to see the way that different Earths are just slightly askew or sometimes very much askew from our own Earth. And I think Jonathan Kent is one of the better new characters, quote unquote, that we've gotten in comics in the last 20-25 years. So combine that with the return of Clayton Henry to interiors. I love Clayton's line, and I don't remember the last time I saw him do a superhero book that I read. Very stoked for all of this. So hopefully you are going to come along for the ride too. We head over to Dark Horse for our second pick of the week, and that is Clear, number 1 of a 3-issue limited series. As is often the case when you hear of a 3-issue limited series, the page count here is larger. It's 56 pages in this issue. I'll admit that I already know what I'm getting with this issue because I read Clear as it was originally produced on Comixology. Now, I know quite a few of you probably didn't, in part because Comixology isn't as popular as the regular direct market, and 2, because Amazon made changes to Comixology, making it very, very hard to find comics on there if you don't know exactly where to look. Either way, Clear is one of the series that Scott Snyder partnered with Amazon in producing, and it is co-created by Francis Manapul. And the premise is pretty cool. It's a sci-fi story set slightly in the future where we live in a world essentially that everybody, and I mean everybody, doesn't look at the world as it truly is. They have AI VR filters, so they see the world with skins, with digital skins that seem very lifelike. So it's like everybody living in virtual reality at all times. But our protagonist, Sam Dunes, is one of the few people around that chooses not to live life that way, and then gets pulled into a very harrowing action adventure as the series undergoes. Unlike a lot of the books that I recommend on these videos, I can already tell you that this one is a total banger. You're going to love it, and hopefully you join me on the ride. Our next 3 picks are all from the House of Ideas. Just one of those weeks, the way it fell that way, it seemed like the bulk of my most coveted reads are from Marvel. So there you have it. Up first is X-Men number 20, written as always by Jerry Duggan, with art not always, but most of the time, by Stefano Caselli. This is the second part of the Lord of the Brood storyline, which, as you can guess, is an adventure featuring the duplicative savage alien race known as the Brood. Only this time, Brew, the longtime X-Men affiliate, is their king. And I enjoyed the first issue quite a bit. One note here, this series is currently tying in with Captain Marvel, so if you're not reading Captain Marvel but are picking up X-Men, make sure when you're at your store to consider grabbing the issues of Captain Marvel that tie into this to make sure you get the full story. We continue the Marvel train rolling here with Scarlet Witch number 3, written by Steve Orlando with stunning art by Sarah Pichelli. As you can see on the cover, this issue, Polaris, aka Wanda's sister, jump into the fray, likely needing Wanda's help on something. But as I understand it, they first head to Subatomica. Yes, very apt timing given Quantumania being in the theaters. But either way, they head on an adventure to Subatomica, and we also get a glimpse into Darcy Lewis, the shopkeeper's backstory. So far so good on this series. I think this is one of the surprise hits of the early 2023 slate. And our final pick of the week is the latest in the Sins of Sinister 11 issue X event. So far, so great. And this week we get Nightcrawlers number 2 of 3, written by Cy Spurrier. This month, the art chores for the 3 issues tying into Sins of Sinister are by Andrea DeVito. And last month, we got to see 10 years into the future after Sinister makes his move. And this month, we get a look at 100 years into the future. As you can see from the cover, it looks like our Nightcrawler doppelgangers and gene-spliced assassins are messing with the Asgardian gods. So that should be an intriguing read for sure. And that does it for the 5 books that I'm most excited to pick up today. Hopefully you have a big old stack of comics that have your juices flowing as well. I'd love to hear about what you're reading, what you're loving, and particularly what you think of some of the comics that I've been recommending. As always, we really appreciate you watching the video, and if you could hit that like button or share it with your friends or subscribe, or hey, do all 3, all the better. And if you want more fantastic comics and conversation, the best way is to download our flagship podcast, 11 O'Clock Comics. It comes out at least 5 times a month at any podcast feed of your choice. And you can check out all the nearly 900 archived episodes for free at 11o'clockcomics.com. Or if you want to chat with us in a bit more active way, check us out at patreon.com/11o'clockcomics or facebook.com/groups/11o'clockcomics. That's all for today, and I'll be back in 7.